I'd like to share with you a website that I've found that I think is the best online dictionary. So I'm going to show you some of the features that I think make it the best dictionary. I've already entered the word noisy. We can type a word up here and press enter, and then we get a whole lot of information on the screen. Let's see what we've got that's useful. We can click on this
noisy, noisy,
so we can hear the word and hear how it's pronounced. That's very useful if you've come across a word that you've never seen before. You might need to get the pronunciation of it. Okay, and then along this left column we've got synonyms, which is actually already selected. So synonyms are words with similar meaning, not always the same meaning, and two words seldom have exactly the same meaning. So noisy and loud are very good synonyms. They're very similar, but boisterous has sort of additional elements to it. With boisterous, it would not only be noisy, but perhaps some pushing and shoving and other sort of things. Think of like young boys, football players or something like that, and they're excited, they've just won the game, and they're out somewhere in a restaurant. So they're noisy, but there's also a lot of, like I said, pushing and shoving going on. Okay, so some words have this element of noisy in them, but they may have other elements as well, and that's why you've got to be careful with synonyms. Likewise, we've got antonyms. These are words with the opposite meanings. These have the opposite meaning. So noisy, it's about loud sounds. We've got some words with the opposite meaning here. Quiet's probably the closest. Silence, a little bit different. Silence means absolutely no noise. So these are words with opposite meanings. We can look at definitions, so we can get an explanation of what noisy means. Full of or characterized by loud and non-musical sounds. Okay, so normally noisy is negative. It's not normally pleasant sounding. But we've got another meaning down here too. Attracting attention by showiness or bright colors. And here we've got a noisy sweater. So it's not suggesting that the sweater has a lot of sound coming from it. The noisy sweater is because it's bright in color. It attracts attention in the same way that loud sounds attract attentions. We can click on examples and we can see how the word noisy gets used. And this is incredibly useful if you're learning a new word, to see how it's actually used, so you can use it correctly in context, and maybe sometimes to co-locate it with other words correctly. Okay. The other thing that I think is interesting, I'll just click. By the way, related, we'll show you words that often go with this word noisy, or these are similar to synonyms. These are some other words that have the element of noisy in them, or they could be other words that go with noise. We can see here hashtags. I haven't got fully to grips with this aspect, but I think you can use hashtags to see words that go together, to see collocations. Okay, now I'll just click back up here on synonyms. I want to show you some of these other parts of speech which I think are useful. The most interesting thing here that I want to show you is the idioms. So we can see some idioms or idiomatic expressions for the word noisy. For instance, we've got raising the roof, the noise. It's so noisy that the roof is being lifted. Wakes the dead. It's so noisy that the dead are being woken. Okay, so I hope you've found that useful. For my mind, this is the best online dictionary. I'm going to put the link to it in the details of the video, so if you want to have a look at this website, you're welcome to click on it and go in and have a look at it yourself. If you're a student studying English, this is particularly useful for you. If you're a teacher, it's something that you might share with your students, or it's something that you might use yourself